Tell me if you relate to this because I do this all the time. You start one book and you might even like it. You might actually really enjoy it. And then, get a few chapters in and then something else starts to look really good. So you kind of put the first one aside and then pick up the second one. And then you realize that you do not, like, not in a million years, have enough books in your house, and you have to buy more. Then you have a whole bunch of books that are half finished. You've got 30 pages in on one and maybe 45 pages left in another one, and just on and on and on. I've got iBooks, I've got Everand, I've got Audible, I've got even like book apps that don't even sound like book apps, like Overdrive. That's a library app. Bottom line, I have a lot of books on the go, and one of the things that I'm trying to do this month and next month, I'm just trying to close some open loops and tie up some loose ends and things like that. And I want to finish some of these books that I've started and I've been reading for far too long. Now, a few of these are books that I'm reading on my phone, but I'll start with one that I don't see very often. I can't imagine it's a very popular book, but I'm gonna do my best to change that. And it's called Dying to Do Letterman by the stand-up comedian Steve Mason. What's cool about this one, and I'll also recommend a TEDx talk that he gave about how it's never too late to chase your dream, right? And for him, it was almost too late because he was kind of coasting through life. He's had this dream for as long as he's been a comedian, and that was to perform comedy on The Late Show with David Letterman. But it took a cancer diagnosis. It shocked him back to life. Like he started to live for that dream again. That he thought that that someday was like a day on the calendar, right? And someday is not a day on the calendar. You got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those show up a few times a month, but there's no someday on the calendar. But Dying to Do Letterman, it's a pleasant surprise this month. Then another one that I've been kind of stringing along for the last couple months, and I won't spend too much time on each book, but it's a really fascinating and just deeply thought out philosophy book called God or Space by Walter Mayer. You get the most out of this book by getting really quiet. It demands a level of introspection and self-examination. I think it is I don't want to say it's rapidly disappearing from like everywhere. There are still, thoughtful people around. We're still here. We read books. We think about the deep subjects. If you're into like philosophy and things like that, as I am, God or Space by Walter Mayer. It's really good. Then a totally different direction. I got Start Thinking Rich by Dr. Brad Klontz and Adrian Brambilla, and this one's pretty damn good. A lot of it is basic financial advice. If you're already doing relatively okay, don't dismiss it. Like give it like a chance. And if anything, just to kind of saturate your mind with people who, like it says, like in the title, think rich. Like if you surround yourself with people who are headed in the right financial direction, that is just going to do wonders. And yeah, so it gets a pretty solid recommendation from me, but it is pretty basic. So like you're not going to find like advanced investment strategies or anything, but you'll find some really interesting, really useful, and tactical and practical financial advice. Last few here, I'm not going to spend too much time on these. This one I haven't started yet, but I'm going to, and it's just thin volume. It's called The Undiscovered Self by Carl Jung, famous depth psychologist. Fascinating guy. I've got several favorite Carl Jung quotes. It goes something like, if the path ahead of you is clear, then it's a sure sign you're on someone else's. I love that quote. He's a very quotable man. And I've read The Portable Jung. I've read Modern Man in Search of a Soul, Man and His Symbols, a whole bunch of Carl Jung. I'm familiar with a lot of his ideas, but this one is one of his better books, and I'm really looking forward to it. And also from Russia with love, Ian Fleming. I'm just waiting for like a really nice day outside. I'm going to take a coffee, sit on my back deck, and read some James Bond. So that's cool. I've been reading this book for like a year. And I'm like 300 pages in. It's a brick, so you'll see why I haven't finished it. But it's Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes, and this is the 400th anniversary edition of this book. And it's funny, like you can pick up this book whenever, and it's like you haven't left, like you're still there. You unfreeze them by returning to the book, and you can just do it whenever you want. They're there. It's a really fantastic book. I'd like to say that I'm taking my time with it. That's why I'm taking so long. That's not the real reason, but yeah, Don Quixote, fantastic. Hopefully, in August I will finish this. And then the last book here, this one is a reread, and it's The Republic by Plato. But in this particular edition, there's a whole bunch of his other dialogue. Meno, Parmenides, Symposium, which I've already read. Yeah, Euthyphro. There's a whole bunch of like Socratic dialogues here. But the first one is The Republic, and it's been such a long time since I've read it. I wanted to go back and read it again. And it's funny, it's almost, man, okay, so it's even older than Don Quixote. I feel the same way about Socrates as I do about Don Quixote. Like just as alive and active and just everything. He's just so there. Like this is a 2,500-year-old book. This dude has been dead for like almost like 3,000 years, like rounding up 3,000 years, 2,500 years. You pick up this book whenever, and it's like you're hanging out. That's my reading recap here. And always remember, bookmarks are for quitters. And even if nobody else in the entire world believes in you, I do.
I don't waste time, no, I make time. All these people wanna hate, fine, I'ma make mine. While you sitting there complaining, I'll be training. While you sitting there just waiting, I'm creating. Yeah.